Hi, welcome to the 2NURFM studios. My name is Todd Sargent. I'm the breakfast announcer at Radio 2NURFM. And normally you would be here live and in person and having a look through our radio station. But at the moment, that's not possible. So what I thought we might do is give you a very special out of hours VIP tour of our radio station. Hope you enjoyed. It's early in the morning. I'm on air at 6 o'clock this morning. So it's around about 4 a.m. I know, silly time to be awake, isn't it? Well, most radio stations are separated into generally two sides, and this is our office and admin side, where our on-air presenters, when they're not on air, sit at their desks. Also, our sales team work here, and our admin staff as well. So it's not unlike any other office you've seen maybe your parents work in, or maybe a school admin office, partitions and people's desks. So for me being a radio announcer, this is not the most fun side of the building, but I'm going to open this door and I'm going to take you over to the side that is. Now, 2NURFM is a working radio station. Now, you may see on movies and television how everything is very, very flash and everything looks shiny, but this is a working radio station. So a lot of people every day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now, the room I have you in now is called Master Control, or what we like to call our control room. And basically all the leads and the wires and the sound from the studio runs under the floor and runs into this big rack of equipment where it's all processed and lots of electronic things happen to it. It goes from there up onto the roof and sent out to Mount Sugarloaf, where our transmitter is, and then transmitted to your radio, whether at home or in the car. And more, a lot of people listening to 2NURFM via the app, and this is the computer that puts that together. So that then goes onto the web and gives you the opportunity to stream our radio station. Now, all radio stations are pretty much the same, but they just play different music. So the station you may listen to may not be the same station that your friends listen to. Pretty much the same when it comes to offices and buildings, they just play different music. Now, one of the exciting things we've got at 2NURFM is our student news program. And you may want to become a journalist, you may want to become a radio newsreader. That's great. If you did, 2NURFM is the place for you. So our hardworking studios are well and truly utilised by our students, and this is our student newsroom. So this is where they will come in and sit. Again, it's a very personal place. You can see a lot of information and notes on boards, and people kind of make it their home. This is where the students come in and they put together not only radio news stories, but they also blog for the 2NURFM webpage. So not only do we do radio and sound, we also do print and of course online content as well. Now, Studio 3, or our newsroom, I'm going to open the door. I hope he's here, because if he's not, we're in big trouble.
Hello.
Hello, this is Ian Crouch. He's our news editor. And Ian and I are the only two people in the studio at this time of the morning. And it's kind of peaceful, isn't it?
It is. It is kind of peaceful. It's kind of good. Yeah, so the reason why I'm here so early is because it's my job, first thing, to gather up all the news from overnight, seeing what's been happening overnight and bring us all up to date about what's happening in the Hunter. So it's also a chance for me to get on top of what's happening about the day, so I can share it with the students when they come in, so we know where we're going for the day. So it's pretty busy. It's pretty full on. So I'm in the process now of just gathering stuff up from overnight. I'm about to look through all the police information from overnight to see what's happened, so I can go to them and have a chat about what's been going on overnight, that sort of thing. Emails, newspapers, websites, the lot we go through, and it's not even 4 o'clock in the morning yet, so it's what we do.
Exactly right. The news doesn't just happen. And as I mentioned, it's a little bit like a rabbit warren. And again, I keep saying 2NURFM is a working studio. And you'll notice here, you can't really see a whole lot, but they're soundproofed, and we have double glazed windows so that when Ian records through the microphones, we don't have any ambient noise coming from the studio. So Ian's hard at work. Ian, thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Thank you for being here. Do you want me to turn the light off, or are you happy in the light?
No, leave it on. I'd like a bit of light while I work. Thanks.
And there goes. Goodbye. Ian Crouch from the Hunter Newsroom. Okay, moving down the corridor, we have another studio, and this is called our production studio, hence the fact it has production studio on the door. Now, what happens in here, this does look like a radio studio. Of course, you've got a microphone, you've got headphones, and you've got what we like to call the mixing desk here. But this studio does not in fact go to air. This is an off-air studio where we produce promotions, sponsorships, a lot of audio elements that you would hear on the air that don't go to air live. So our producer would be sitting here during the day, and what would happen if we needed to record something, whether it be a sponsorship or a promotion, the voiceover person would come in behind there, and there's that soundproof barricade there, and be recorded, and that's where it would go. It would be mixed. We call it a mixing desk because there's a lot of different faders and we can mix things together. I know there's a lot of buttons. I know it probably looks very, very complicated, but once you get used to it, like most things, it's pretty easy to use. So that is the 2NURFM production studio. I'm going to be very energy efficient, and I'm going to be a friend of the planet, and I'm going to turn the lights off. I'm sure you would have wanted me to do that because you'd be the same. Right, down to the end of the corridor. This is the fun part for me in Radio 2NURFM because this is the Onair studio. And I like to work in the Onair studio with what we call our mood lighting or our track lighting. I'm not a big fan of fluorescent lights. So, this is it. This is where I operate and all our broadcasters operate. This is Studio 2, our main on-air studio. And you'll notice we have a desk, not unlike the desk in the production studio, although with a few less faders. Mind you, there's still plenty of buttons. They all serve a purpose, and trust me, it looks a little bit complicated, but once you get used to it, it's okay. A lot of monitors, and basically, what do we have on these monitors? Well, this system I'm going to focus in for you now is called our playout system, and that's where our news, our music, our sponsorship, and our sweepers all come together. So right about now, we've just hit 4 a.m. in the morning, and our news is going to air now. So that's just a computer that we use for the internet. That is just one of our screens for our desk, and just another computer as well that we use for the internet. We have a couple of internet machines in the studio that gives us the opportunity to have different information running around at the same time. So we're not basically clicking in and out of tabs. It makes it a bit easier for us. As you can see, the main broadcast microphone, telephones, CD players, we don't use those a whole lot, but they are still in the studio should someone want to use them. Here's a bit of trivia for you. Average for 2NURFM during the day, we would play 10 to 12 songs an hour. So what I'd like you to do as a bit of a project is think about if we were going to put you on the air for 1 hour. We were going to give you a 1 hour air shift at Radio 2NURFM. What 10 songs would you pick to play on your very own radio station? So have a think about that. Going to make you a DJ for an hour, and you've got to come up with 10 songs. So however you want to get those together, but that is your special project for this virtual tour of Radio 2NURFM. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to a time when we can actually have you in the building and I can personally show you around my little part of the world. It's been a pleasure. Have a fantastic day and hope to see you soon at Radio 2NURFM 103.7.